So, we are here for a bonfire session, the first of many, I hope. So, we're talking about travel. And they say travel is measured in moments and stories, not miles. So, we are here to talk about such stories and such moments that made up your travel experience. And say, Gautam, I hear you travel as a couple with your wife, right?
Yeah.
So, how does that work? I mean,
Traveling solo has its own benefits, but traveling together as a couple, you get to bond with your partner. So you build up the confidence you have with each other, knowing that they will be there for you during your moments of trouble. Or
So, Anuja, I hear you're a solo traveler, right? Since you have traveled solo a lot, how is your experience different from Gautam's?
I think that is exactly what sets it apart because when you're traveling solo, you have only yourself to rely upon. But for me, the best thing about solo travel is that it brings me out of my comfort zone. I am a lot more open and I actually end up talking to people because I don't have anyone who I stick with all the time. And I've had a lot of experiences where I've met amazing people who I don't think I would have met if I had not traveled solo.
So, Malvika, you've heard both sides of the story. What
Yes.
is your preferred way to travel?
I think both sides, as they've said, have their merits. But personally, I like traveling solo because for me, it means that I can decide exactly where to go and when to go. I don't have anybody, making me late or making me go early. So I really enjoy that.
Being women and traveling solo, I'm sure there would have been a lot of spooky or scary moments during these journeys. Is there? I mean, come on, this is India, so let's not.
Yeah, just to make a point, it's not just about India. It can be anywhere in the world. Wherever you go in the world, no matter how safe a destination it's supposed to be, you somehow almost very inherently have to maintain caution. So while I was traveling solo, I happened to go to a hostel in Europe. So when I went in, they gave me this four-bed dorm. And while I checked in, I happened to be the only person in that dorm. So I took one of the bottom bunks and I settled down. So that night when I went to sleep, I woke up suddenly in the middle of the night and I couldn't move. The only thing I could do was look around, as in I could only move my eyes. And there was a clock somewhere like diagonally across from my bed. And it's one of those really quiet places because in Europe you don't have fans and you don't have these things. So it's really quiet, and the only thing I could hear is that tick, tick, tick of the clock, which usually I already find like quite creepy. And then I looked to the left, and the bed that was directly across from me, which was supposed to be empty because nobody is occupying it, it was lumpy, like as if somebody is sleeping there. And then a part of me thought maybe somebody checked in late night, but at the same time I was just like, I want to move. Like that feeling of not being able to move is really scary. And I've experienced that before. It's like a form of sleep paralysis. So I was just willing myself to kind of like move or like just go back to sleep or something. And then that moment passes, and I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, okay, it's weird, but this has happened before, so it's fine. So the second night, nothing happened, but funnily enough, nobody had checked into that dorm. So it was still empty. I was still the only one occupying that particular room. I thought maybe I
you
dreamt it.
confirmed it with them.
Yeah, there was nobody there. And so I was like, okay, maybe I dreamt it, or I'm not sure. But the third night, which was my final night in the dorm, the same thing happened where I woke up in the middle of the night, and again, I cannot move. And I can't even see the clock. Like earlier, I could see, and it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. This time, I can't see it. It's blurry. Everything around me is blurry, and all I can hear is that tick, tick, tick of the clock. And I look to the side, and again, the bed is occupied, and like it's like somebody's pulled the covers and they're just sitting there. And this time, I because the same thing happening like pretty much in same place around the same time is just it was so weird. And I was really willing myself, like just somehow get out of this. Like it felt like I was, either trapped in a bad dream or something bad was going to happen and I had to get out of it. The next thing I remember, it was the dorm room was quite bright and it was just past like 6 in the morning, and the bed was empty. Like it was made, like how somebody would, like when nobody's occupied it, it's completely made. And I kept wondering, oh, what is happening? But I was checking out of the hostel that day anyway. So while I was checking out, it was a different person than the person checking in because they work in shifts. While she was checking me out, the lady is like, "Oh, so you were staying in this particular dorm room?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "I actually work here part time, and I've been working here for a little over a month. And the entire time that I have worked here, every single person who has been assigned that particular dorm room has requested us to move them from there after the first night. You're the only one who has stayed there for 3 nights in a row." I
So
don't
did
know.
you stay there one more night?
No, I was leaving anyway. So yeah, but if I wasn't, I probably wouldn't have.
So I was visiting a tea estate in Valparai I wasn't solo, I was with a group of people, and we'd gone for this walk. Valparai has like these hills and tea estates, and it's also really, really famous for elephants. And we climbed up, and our guide had said, "Oh, there's some really nice views at the top. Let's make it there. We have half an hour more to go." And so we're walking, and suddenly he gets a call, and then he's like, "Okay, okay, okay, thank you," and he cuts the call. He turns around, he tells us, "So don't be scared. Nothing happened. Just walk down really fast, but gently." So we all start freaking out, saying, "It's elephants. There's an elephant attack. Something is happening. We have to like save ourselves. Our lives are in danger." So we start walking down. We're all really scared. So we're almost at the bottom of this hill, and then he tells us again that don't get scared. Don't worry. Nothing will happen. Just now, please run. So now we're all really scared. From one elephant, we're like, "Oh, there's a horde of elephants chasing us." 40 elephants chasing us now. So we're all like panicking and running.
But gently.
But gently. So what had happened to the elephants? What is happening? He's like, no, nothing. It wasn't elephants. Don't worry. There was just some like bees. They escaped from their hives and they were attacking people. So we were like, you could have told us that. Bees are not the same as like a attacking horde of angry elephants. We were saved that day, but the next day we were walking around the tea estate and elephants did come. They weren't.
So what you had was a trailer. So what would your reaction have been if you knew it was just bees?
You would still have run. But
But
maybe
at least it would be like they're not going to be squashed to death. They're just going to be stung to death.
they have peace of mind.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I think we happened to be on a trip to Ooty when a bison attacked
Yeah.
us.
It didn't attack us.
I mean,
it was just there.
no, it was past the gate, and
Yeah.
there was a tea estate or something there.
Yeah, there was a tea estate and there was one huge bison and its entire female harem. If you want to call it that. No, it was just one huge male bison and all the others were females and like a couple of their calves.
And this is like a fence, okay? And
Yeah.
we could see the bison from the other side. We're taking photos, and there are a bunch of tourists all around us and taking photos. And we see this one bison casually stroll, and it opens the gate and it comes onto the
It
side.
crosses the road and like all these people are like trying to take photos and stuff and they're acting all macho, okay? And the bison just like turns and it like just that it does that thing, no?
That's not.
Yeah.
And then they all ran and then the bison just like coolly walked off.
So what did the buffalo say to his son before he left him to school?
Bison. It's an old one.
I wouldn't call it a spooky experience, but I did have, I would say, a weird experience when I was traveling solo. Okay, it was a bus journey. So I had a heavy dinner that night, and in the bus I was, waiting for a toilet break. I think the time was somewhere around 1:30 at night, and the bus stopped somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, I went to the restroom, but somehow the latch got jammed and I hear the bus honking. Somehow I pried it open and I ran out. So this bus was leaving. I was shouting, "Hey, stop, stop, stop." But it's a closed off AC Volvo, nobody is hearing. Bus left. And okay, I went back to that tea stall. I was pondering options, what to do. And I fell asleep on that table. So the next thing I know, I'm waking up inside the bus. So all of you must have experienced the, relaxation of waking up from a bad dream, right? So I was very happy. So somehow at that time I did not feel like I need to have that toilet break. So happily I went back to sleep, and once I blinked, and next moment I woke up in that table in the tea stall. Now I don't know what happened. Like, whether I am in the tea stall or whether I am in the bus. Seriously. So it was all a easy experience in my head. So when I woke up from the table, I could see that the bus is standing there and it's honking. Okay. So I just ran into the bus. I did not really wonder what happened. I just got into my seat and just stayed there. Maybe after some 10-15 minutes, I slept. The next thing I remember is me reaching the bus stand and this conductor saying, "Get down and get lost." So I still don't know really like what was the dream or what was the real experience. Whether the bus came back for me or whether the toilet break really happened. I still have no clue.
We've all had dreams, where we have missed
Yeah.
the bus or missed the flight.
But I'm not
But this
really
is
sure whether it is a
extreme.
dream or whether it happened or
I don't think this kind of inception level
Yeah.
insanity is
Yeah.
common.
let's call it a
That was the
busception or
first
something.
thing that came to my mind, Inception. Like, are you sure there was DiCaprio wasn't around, like, when you woke up?
So, I mean, you've heard our spooky stories, but I know you have one yourself.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's spooky because of the note it ended on. So, this was in, it's a small town in Karnataka called Tirthalli. So, this is right after the Agumbe Ghat section. And a couple of my friends had gone there, and we happened to chance upon this hill, and somebody told us there's an old temple there, and you can sort of check it out. So we go there, and it's like this temple is literally in ruins, and we have no clue. There's not even a signboard or a name to that temple. So just to get this setting, it's a hill with 3 steep cliffs, and the path which you can take, you can make out somebody half an hour before they reach that place. You can sort of make out them coming to that place. So we are standing there, and suddenly this shepherd walks in, and he's got around 50 sheep, all grazing on top of this mountain. And he sort of talked to us, and he asked us what we were doing there. And he started giving us, a lowdown about the temple and how this is a Shiva temple. And he points out 2 other hills, and there's a Devi temple there, and there's one more temple there. And on some particular day, you sort of do puja in all the 3 temples and ask whatever you wish for, and that comes true. And we went inside the temple to sort of check it out. And hardly 2 minutes later, we come out, and this guy's nowhere to be seen.
And the sheeps.
And the sheep, 50 sheep, I'm not kidding, like at least 50, maybe not 40 elephants, but 50 sheep for sure. And they were like, and the only way to get down from the cliff, from that hill, is what I told you. There's no way he could have gone. And he's just disappeared. And my friend, he's a little bit of the devotional, God-fearing kind, and he's like, dude, I think we saw Shiva. I think that was Shiva. And the other guy who was, an atheist, go 2 and 2, and he's like, bro, he was a shepherd. It can't be Shiva. It could be Jesus, but not Shiva. So, like I said, not really spooky, but yeah, I still think of it sometimes as a spiritual experience. But you never know. Maybe there was a,
Secret path.
shepherd's path that we never figured out. So.
And then finally, when the results came out, I got only 2 votes. And now I don't even know which of my parents voted for me.